What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Limitless Crypto session here with the fam. The beautiful family. Mount Luna's Corrado. Good to be back here. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Let's talk some crypto. Let's talk some business. And let's change our lives. All right. That's what we're doing here on a day-to-day basis here. Make sure you smash up that like button right now. Let's get it over with. I know it's tough, but that's then already done. All right. And let's get the party started. Great to see you again, Trader Tim. Good to see my man Phil Sinclair, the crypto noob, Igor, the G, Admiral's here. Good to see you, man. Jack and Rusher. Admiral says your mic is not that great. All right, let me see what we can do about it here. Let me see if we can fix something. Yeah, give me an update about the microphone. I was traveling, so I took the mic with me. It's always a headache when I'm putting it back on here. John, great to see you, my friend. The Boisha as well. Ray, incredible. Billy Joe. Maria Gonzalez in the building as well here. Okay, beautiful, fantastic. Let's talk some crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what's actually going on with the microphone, then I know what the problem is, so we can work it out here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Test 1, 2, 3. Is it working? Everything good? Let me know. Let me check real quick. Okay, I think this is the problem. I think it's solved now. All right, it should be good. If it's really bad, let me know. We will get it sorted along the way here. Let's not waste any more time here for you guys. Let's talk about the cryptocurrency markets right now. And Bitcoin, we have been coming up. We have been coming up lately. Okay, we came from the 38.5 all the way up to the 42.6, 42.7. All right, we came up significantly over the last couple of days here. We finally saw that retracement of around 10% after, of course, a major dump of around 20%. All right, so we're halfway back of where we came from initially. The question right now will be, is this going to be enough for us today or this week for another push further back to where we came from? And that was roughly around, you could say, the $45,000. Is that where we're going to go to right now? Or is it just going to be a fake out? Is this going to be a trap? And are we going to come back down here? Well, there are some reasons why this could be a trap and why we potentially could be coming down here. So we're going to talk about everything here in a second. And the reason why we still should be extremely careful unless we get the following confirmation. And that confirmation is going to be key for us. That confirmation is going to give us the trading opportunities we need to execute. But a fake out could also be a nice opportunity. Regardless if price moves up or down, we were going to be here regardless. We have some opportunities for both answer. But let's start out with the Bitcoin price, number one. Okay, we came down, of course. There are some good things happened, actually. If you look at the overall market, there were definitely a couple of good things, which I actually really like to see here for Bitcoin right now. And especially if you take this to the higher time frame and you come back towards the, you could say, daily, right here, you could say, okay, the $38,000 is fantastic. That was kind of the low that we're looking for here. We talked about the 38.5. We had a limit order set there, 38.5. Also at 34K in case we would come down lower, and at 31K even as well. But right now, the good part is that we have kind of reclaimed back, and this is beautiful to see. We reclaimed back to 41.2K. And I think that was kind of actually a key level that we had to break here. And also, if you look at the weekly, you could see that we closed the weekly candle above the 41.2K as well here. Why the 41.2K? Why is that such an important level? Well, pretty much if you look here, right, we use this level exactly as a lot of support in the past. So, you know, you see this right here, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We finally broke down below. We closed multiple daily candles below it. And just before the weekly candle closure, we actually closed above it. So that's a good sign. That's something that tells us that we are actually looking quite good here. Okay. Very, very interesting to see that the fact that we have closed above the 41.2 in general. So fantastic. That's number 1. However, there are a couple of things that we have to look at. We have to look at multiple charts, not just the Bitcoin chart, to make a decision from, okay, what's up from here, all right? Is this going to be a fake move? Are we going to close below the 41.2K again? If that's going to happen, we most likely will drop off and we start seeing, you know, lower targets from there, actually coming back towards this range that we still have, sitting at around $37.4, $38,000 as our first actual stop from them. At this particular moment, this could be a moment where we just come up here. All these early shorters, all these people that went short here, where are these traders going to put their stop losses? Well, most likely right above where it is right now. So roughly around the $42,000 here. The main reason, and that's why you can see here clearly, we have been taking out tremendous amounts of liquidity already to the upside here. A lot of shorters got liquidated due to the fact that, you know, they were seeing Bitcoin coming down lower and not particularly retracing, pulling back up right away above the 41.2K and immediately going up from there. So of course, a lot of shorters right now got liquidated here, got stopped out of the market. Now, that's a good thing. If we zoom in and we go to the 4-hour though, you know, we have been talking about this on the channel many times before, over and over again, where we say, okay, we look from range to range to range. That's it. That's the only thing we need to know. You have bigger ranges right here, right? A massive range. You have in these bigger ranges, you have smaller ranges as well. And we're just trying to use that in our advantage here. So for example, we had this low right now. We had a range right here. We had a range right here. First range, boom, immediately got, you know, taken out. Second range, of course, the point of control right now at 42.6K or 42.7 to be exact is holding up. All right, is acting as significant resistance right here. So what in my opinion is a key for Bitcoin to show us right now that you're actually worthy to look for a continuation to the upside. In my opinion, a pullback towards the 41.2K here would be beneficial. Will be actually good to show us that we can hold here. If not, coming down towards the 40.8, that's another level I'm personally looking at as well, in case we're going to come down towards that range, and then show us from there that you're actually willing to hold here. I think it's the most important part right now for us as traders is to be patient and to not be too greedy when you know, talking about particular setups. We will talk about a couple of trades here, but that's for a different type of reason. What I'm looking for here is I want to just give us the understanding that today is Monday. And for the particular reason, what we are interested in right now as traders is to make sure that we understand what the key levels are. Because if you get into the market on a Monday, let's say you took a break on a Sunday, right? Whatever the case may be, there was not much volume traded, you know, and so on here. You are interested in trading, you know, during the week due to the fact there is more volume here. The best thing to look for on a Monday is to just see, okay, Bitcoin is in this range right now. It claimed back an important, fantastic level at 41.2K. The next level is 42.7. That's where the point of control is at. We're getting a rejection from there. So if you didn't went short there, then you're now in between two levels. You're in between the point of control at 42.7, and you're in between the daily level, that initial daily level that was holding such strong support before. So between the 42.7 and the 41.2 right now is where you want price to go. And this is where our most likely the best trading opportunities will occur. So for example, if we come back towards the 41.2 here and we react, you know, bullish, fantastic. This could be an amazing setup to then start looking at all kinds of setups in the market, altcoins, whatever the case may be. You know, we have to look at a couple more charts. But from there, you kind of have that confirmation from, okay, Bitcoin is now at the daily support. We have been closing strong bullish candle, a daily candle above it. Fantastic. Now from the next days ahead of us here, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, I can start looking at particular long setups or something in that manner right here. Okay, so something like that is what we're looking for. And that's why these key levels for Bitcoin are always key to understand when you're starting your week. I think this is definitely something, at least that I do, that helps me tremendously when looking at the markets right now. Okay, so we got rejected there at the point of control for now. We also have to look at the Tether dominance here. And the Tether dominance, you know, came back down here. But keep in mind, guys, that we still are above the 6%. And the longer we stay above the 6%, the the actual worse it is for the market to be. We need to reclaim also the lows here as soon as possible. If that does not happen here, that means that Tether will potentially hold here, and that people are unlikely to sell their Tether back into crypto, at least for now, because in their mind, they're still in their head that they expect potential lower targets. And if that's the case in the overall market here, and they're not confirmed yet or confident enough yet for them to actually, enter the markets now, because the sentiment is not there yet, that could be an indication for the Tether dominance holding here above the 6%. Anything below is an absolute blessing for us, because if that happens here, then most likely Bitcoin is going to break above here, is going to flip the point of control in support, is going to go to the 45K, which can then result into a really amazing trading opportunity for all of us here. So what you want to see is you want to get that confirmation as well, because yes, okay, Bitcoin reclaimed back the 41.2K here, but the Tether dominance is still above that daily support. And that's the main reason why we're always looking at multiple charts at the same time and not just build our own conclusion, our own setup, our own sentiment just on one particular chart only. We want to understand what the sentiment is like. I think that's absolutely key. And you do that by understanding a couple more charts in the markets here, whereas the Tether dominance is definitely one of them. Okay, so if you want to have more information about that here, I have a free course that you can join here if you are in our crypto VIP channel. All right, I just saw a question in the chat here. Does the V3 limitless access entitle you to crypto VIP? No, it does not. It's a separated entity in our community here. You need to sign up. It costs you nothing. It's free to join. You need to deposit $100 on your account or your trading account. Sign up through one of our referral links. Deposit $100 and use this to get access to our channel. We have a course, okay? And I have a course built where I explain all these different steps here. Explaining why the Tether dominance is so important, how you should look at the Bitcoin prices here, what is the Bitcoin dominance, how does that affect the price, when to trade altcoins, when to avoid altcoins. Like, all these things come back in that free course as well once you're in our community. So I highly recommend you haven't checked it out here. Check it out. It's super, super beneficial. Now, when talking about the Tether dominance here, of course, we are now still holding up quite well. We're still above this initial range. We have been expanding. We have been coming back. As long as we're staying above the 6% here, you have to be careful with long setups in the market. That's just a reality, something we cannot avoid right now. What is interesting though is the following two charts, and I also shared this also in a video I created for you guys in the VIP as well. It's just the grayscale chart. All right, we all know that right now the spot ETF got approved on, let's say, the 11th of January. All right, the 10th of January we saw that massive pump. The 11th, we created the top and we started reversing from there. And that was kind of the moment when we started to sell off aggressively right here. In such a manner that Grayscale actually lost around 21% of their shares right there, right? So it's a big combination of, massive selling going on here. We know why. Of course, Grayscale are one of the biggest holders, or Bitcoin holders at this current moment. So for that particular reason, a lot more other spot ETFs were cheaper to hold, much more variance here. Therefore, the Grayscale ticker and the trust itself, much more expensive to hold here. All right. For that particular reason, a lot of people sold their Bitcoin, got rid of their Bitcoin here, and the sell off started almost from the top to the bottom. And 20% in Grayscale is significant. All right. So for the particular reason, it had an impact on the Bitcoin dump. Now what we're going to see here is that, the moment we saw, this particular low holding here, And this is actually super key for us to start also projecting the future a little bit more, due to the fact that this particular low right here, this particular area of the month that you can see here right there, this is the bottom of that initial pullback, the 20% pullback here for Bitcoin as well. That was the exact bottom as well right here, of course, at around 38.5K. Yes, you had a small zone, which is an interesting zone to look at. Fantastic. But it was not as clear as, you know, it could get here to get particularly to the 38.5 or potentially to the 38K. What was clear though, was that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust chart actually came back towards this exact low, which was the low that created that massive impulse to the upside here, which has never been retested before. So the moment it actually came down towards that particular low, you can see that from there, we started to come up, build that liquidity, break out, actually compress, and are now back at a new level of resistance here. So for the particular reason, I highly recommend you to also look at the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust chart. I think it's going to help you tremendously by just understanding the structure of this chart as well, and not just only look at the Bitcoin pricing, due to the fact that right now all eyes are practically on Grayscale, of course. Are they going to sell more? Is it time to sell more Bitcoin? If they are going to sell more, what's going to be the impact on the overall market here? Well, so far, you know, it had a significant impact from the top of that Bitcoin range at $48,000 all the way down to 38,000. Okay, a 20% dump is pretty significant right here. Now you have the Bitcoin Grayscale Trusted Swan layer. You can see now that you're back at that range. And like we said here, we look to trade from range to range. So this was a nice clean range. You can see already that you got rejected at that range right now. This is currently where we're stuck. Okay, we're currently at the what we call the value area low. And now the question is, are we strong enough to you know, break above it? That's actually what we would love to see here. You know, breaking above, you know, the 38.5 and flip, you know, the value area low, the point of control into support, to then look for continuation back to the highs. If that happens, big reasoning for Bitcoin to come back and retest, of course, the weekly highs again. So if you go to the Bitcoin chart on the weekly time frame and you zoom out right now, yes, we are facing that major resistance right here from that weekly trend, that resistance, you know, that bigger range, you name it, all kinds of levels, all kinds of reasons here, but that could result into another push up here towards the $45,000. And doesn't mean that we're going to come down right away. It could mean that we could start consolidating again, and that could give us a lot more altcoin, you know, opportunities again, a lot of potential, you know, long setups again in the market, also especially for altcoins, even when Bitcoin is ranging up around the 45K, coming up towards the 47K here, maybe even to the 50, you know, to cause a little confusion. You never know, to actually just make people believe we're going to go up, to then still potentially move down after. All right. But again, the weekly closure above the 45,000 is one of the most important closures we're currently looking for. Now, this is the GBTC chart here, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust chart. We also have ARK Invest, right? One of the spot ETFs that came out is ARK. Well, if you look here from the launch, you know, this is practically ever since the launch we came down. All right, there was no holding back here. It was just a sell the news event here. 26% drop off from the top. And this is the first time right now that you can actually use some TA here, all right, on this chart. So this is the primer, all right? The first time that we now can use the technical analysis here for ARK Invest. You know, let that be a first time here, because this is going to come for many more years, hopefully in the future. You can see right now that we finally are at a level of resistance here. So we had this support, we flipped it into resistance, and the third time right now, the second time right now from below, we're flipping it again into resistance, or it's still below the key level right now. Our first actual key level here for ARK at $42.28 here. So again, we want to see a nice breakout above this previous high and flip it into support as well to look for further continuation up here. So even though the conclusion of what I want to explain here, even though the fact that Bitcoin right now is looking good, is looking bullish on the lower time frame. All right, we have been closing above the daily level. We have been reclaiming that important level of 41.2K. Does not mean by definition we're just gonna come up from here, due to the fact that there are a lot of lagging indicators showing us that the Tether dominance, for example, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, ARK Invest, all of these charts here are not showing us the same effect as what Bitcoin is doing right now. Combine this with a bunch of new fresh meat below the $40,000 as well. You know, hundreds of billions of dollars of sell side liquidity as well getting built up here. Do take that in consideration that this could also attract, can be used as a magnet as well. So therefore, I just want you to be aware of this. So yes, confirmations will come into play this week. If you see the confirmation here, it's going to be a breakout and a confirmation here. Most likely what will happen with Bitcoin is that we will flip this particular zone. So the $43,000, we will use this first to break above it, to flip it into support, stay above the 42.7, to then start looking for the 45K as our next target here. So this is where you're going to find a lot of really nice clean trade opportunities if that happens here. If it doesn't happen, we have to come back down towards the 41K. We can still look for that same particular opportunity, get into particular long positions earlier. If you see a daily closure below it, it's, in my opinion, game over in the short term for Bitcoin. And I think we're going to come straight down towards the $38,000 and if not lower. So these are kind of like the three different scenarios that you can look at here for Bitcoin. And I think you should always think in scenarios and always think in reasons why and how you're going to react. Okay. If this happens, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do that. And if this happens, I'm going to trade this way. You always have an answer for every scenario here. So the only thing you have to do is just to highlight these three scenarios, wait for price to pull back into that region, to then act based upon, the following confirmations. Hope that makes sense. If it does, press a 1 in the chat here. I want to see some activity in the chat. Can we use ICT for cryptocurrencies? You can use ICT, yeah, for cryptocurrencies. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Definitely possible here. Okay. Now that's Bitcoin. Okay. Very important. So now we have to just understand, okay, the Tether dominance is still above 6%. We have to be careful here. As long as we're staying above it, I'm not going to be extremely bullish on any altcoin or whatever in that matter, due to the fact as well, and I need to highlight this for you guys here, that the Bitcoin dominance, and I think that there are two more charts that we need to look at before we go into all the altcoins that we're looking for. And that is number one, the Bitcoin dominance chart. All right. The Bitcoin dominance chart right now is pushing up. All right. It is pushing up here. We are facing some resistance here. So, if, and this would be the best case scenario for us for long setups in the market here, if the Tether dominance decides to come below the 6% and the Bitcoin dominance breaks down here and breaks below the 52%, and preferably the 52.2%. So let's say this particular zone here. All right. So let's highlight this one real quick. There we go. Let me quickly. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Boom. If you start coming and breaking below here, and both of these break below here, we're going to see some major altcoins absolutely ripping to the upside here. Okay. So that's a scenario that we could take in consideration when that actually happens here. For now, it's good that the Bitcoin dominance is below that zone here, but we're still looking quite strong. All right. There is no significant signs of weakness yet. So therefore, my recommendation is to be patient, because you could easily start breaking above here, flip it into support, and look for further continuation to the upside. And if that happens, and the Tether dominance is also holding above here, and it comes up here, then altcoins are gonna get, are gonna get wrecked, are gonna get destroyed in the very short term here. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance is a key factor. The other chart here, which I think is also always key to look at, is the Ethereum against the Bitcoin chart. So you just get an understanding of what's currently going on here when looking at this chart right now. Well, you can see that we are definitely losing still its momentum right now. You can see that we got rejected here Even if you zoom out on the weekly time frame, you came back. Initially was looking very, very good, guys. It was looking very, very good for Ethereum against the Bitcoin chart, and therefore an automatic, you could say, representation, against the altcoins as well, or for the altcoins, sorry. You can say right now that the lows right here and that lower low here for the Ethereum against Bitcoin chart could lead into a rejection. If that happens here, of course, this is also not contributing to the success of altcoins at this current moment as well here. So yeah, obviously, do take consideration that so far we are seeing that rejection, and it's not really looking that particularly strong at the moment as well here. All right, so for that particular reason, as long as we stay above here, okay, I'm still going to be extremely patient here. And I do think that for now, at least, more potential short setups will occur, or give us the opportunity to trade here rather than looking for longs, even though price is coming up right now, or has been coming up over the last couple of days here. And the reason why is because right now, this is a Solana chart, for example. You can kind of see that, we are pulling back here. But at the same time, we are now almost back at the initial highs that created these lows right here. So, you can clearly see that this was the high, this was the low, and potentially now we're setting up for some sort of lower high in the market here. So for that particular reason, I would be very, very patient. I would be definitely waiting to see what Solana is going to do at the top of this range, because this high is an extremely important high. It's a swing point, which I think you can definitely not neglect, due to the fact that this was that final squeeze, that final high before we saw that major sell-off back towards the to the downside here. So therefore, first time that we're retesting this zone here, definitely for that reason, not interested in long setups. I hope that makes sense, guys. Okay, not looking for longs right here when you're rightly tapping into the $100 mark, which is also a massive psychological layer as well. So I think this is definitely something that we cannot neglect right here. So be careful with long setups whenever you see, of course, this happening in the market right here. Okay. Now, for the rest, of course, when we are coming back towards the $100 here, the question is, how are we going to respond at that level? And are we going to look for potential confirmations here? And if that's the case, is that then a nice level to look for shorts? Is this going to be enough for us to give us that confirmation we need for the Tether dominance that we're actually going to hold here? And if that's the case, tomorrow we will be shorting Solana really nicely. And we're going to probably take it down further towards, the early 90s, you could say, the $90 or something in that manner, because I think that's like kind of the target that we're then looking for, is a rejection here, pretty much a lower low formation, and then looking for a rejection to look for that further continuation to the downside right there. Okay, hope that makes sense. Now that's Solana here. What will happen? What will invalidate everything if we break above the 102? All right, if we break above the 102, I can almost guarantee you already that the Tether dominance will be below the 6%, and therefore we could flip everything that we're talking about right now, into support, and then look for further continuation to the upside. Anything below that still is seen as bearish here. So there are two things you can do. You can go long right now and take very unnecessary risk for no particular reason, just because the market is sort of say bullish. Second reason, you can wait for price to come and tap into the zone to wait for further reaction and see if this is actually bearish, if the Tether dominance is actually holding strong, and you can look for long setups, short setups, sorry, right away. Or you are doing nothing, you are biased, you are bullish, and you simply wait for a break above the 102. And if that happens, you might have that confirmation and can look for further continuation to the upside here. So it all depends on what you prefer, what kind of trader you are, and all that stuff here. But for now, Solana is coming back towards these key levels. And in my opinion, guys, that's the only thing that you have to do when trading here, is to mark out your key levels in the market. Once it gets there, that's the moment for you to start looking and thinking, is this level now interesting to me? Is it still interesting to me? Yes or no? If yes, what are the confluences? What are the reasons why? And what are the potential scenarios from now? That's it. We don't have to overcomplicate it here. Okay, so a question to you right now here, and I'm gonna make a poll real quick. I just wanted to know. I think we're back. We're back. Yeah, I'm gonna make a quick poll here. Do you mark out your key levels at all times? Yes or no? I would love to see that in the chat here right now. I'm just very curious to see if people are doing it, or if you're just more of a person that's just randomly looking at the chart and therefore also randomly just trying to look for certain levels every single day. This is also a possibility. I just want to know here what you guys are doing, how you approach the market here, so I can kind of give you more, you know, reliable and more precise advice on that matter here. For me personally, I'm very patient. I'm setting up my key levels. I always have two sides of the story. It's a double-edged sword for me. So I always look at, okay, if this happens, I'm going to go long. If this happens, I'm going to go short. I'm non-biased. I can change my mind at any given moment based upon what the chart is telling me here. So I'm very curious to see what the votes are telling me right now. It's just good to know for myself as well here. Currently I have 11 votes, 64% says yes, 36% says no. For the people that say no here, let me know in the chat as well right now, like what is the reason why you're not marking out your key levels, or how do you approach the market here? Sum it up, and you know, I'm just curious to see how you guys are following that approach here. So that's Solana. Okay, Solana is looking interesting here. The good thing is now that that potentially today we're gonna have that confirmation already, and we will know what will happen. All right, what our buys for the next coming days will be. So that's actually the most important part about a Monday, is especially when the weekly candle opens up and it's a new candle, that you're not rushing into your positions. Okay, no need to rush into your positions when you don't have to, in whatever way possible here. You can always wait for extra further confirmation, and if that confirmation comes into play, boom, on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you have a bunch of trade opportunities to look for. Sometimes you can you know, play this game, but most of the time here, in my opinion, you don't need to. You can actually wait for the right steps to occur. Gives you much more accuracy and much more money making also in the long term here. Jan says no, because I'm still figuring out how to do it. My man, we're gonna help you with this. Well, this is, I just follow voices in my head. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. We've been there. We've been there, my man. Yeah, absolutely. Raises key levels, point of control and price action. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so yeah, that's the buys for now. The market is going up currently, but again, we are coming back towards its key level at 6%. So keep a very close eye on this level here. It's going to help you out tremendously. GBTC is breaking above here. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Bitcoin is trying to break above here as well. Let's quickly look at where Bitcoin is at. Are we going to get rejected one more time at the point of control? It's going to be a moment of truth, okay, for Bitcoin as well. So we will be seeing this in a matter of minutes here. All right, let's be patient and we will find out exactly what we can do here. Then let's go over a couple more. Let's start out with the bigger caps first. Let's try to skip now the small caps for now at the moment. Let's start out with the bigger boys, and then we can go back down towards the medium, you know, the medium time frame and all that stuff here a little bit later. Okay. For now, what's important to mention here, if Bitcoin is actually going to hold here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay very close attention for you guys as well right now at the moment, to see if there are some reasons why we might get rejected again. And if that's the case here, then I think most of our short opportunities will come into play or will come into fruition already on this stream potentially here. So yeah, the fact that we're coming up aggressively does not mean we're automatically per definition, you know, bullish for now here. Okay, so I'll keep a close eye on it, guys. So I'll make sure that you guys are fully updated. In the meantime, let's go to another chart here. Let's go to AVAX indeed. Let's start out with AVAX. AVAX has been performing relatively well against the others as far as what I've seen before here. So let's see if that's the case. And also in the meantime, while I'm doing AVEX real quick, let me know also in the chat right now, what are the main things you are currently struggling with? So when talking about trading, there's always something you're trying to work on specifically. What is, in your opinion, the biggest issue you're facing? There could be multiple issues at the same time, of course, but I think that there's always one that stands out more than the other. At least that's from my personal experience. There's always one that's a little bit worse. That's just, you know, overlapping a little bit too much at that given moment in time here. All right. Look at Bitcoin, but we're moving. Still curious to see how we respond here. Vibe is picking up. All right. Let's keep a close eye on it. Okay, so AVEX, number one. AVEX is very, very close to that key level here. So, where I was extremely bullish on AVEX, again, look at this same level, guys. I think this is by far for you as well, the ways to look at it again, is by not neglecting the weekly time frame. Because it's like the easiest thing to do, you know, in trading for, in my opinion, when you're starting out as well, is starting out at the higher time frame, just to mark out your levels are extremely important. And what you can do, for example, is you look at every single weekly high and you look if there is potential any relevancy here. So for example, we have one right now, right here, and I think this matters a lot for AVEX right now. This was one right here. You can see it. This was an important high. We had this one was an important high. We had this one right now being an important high. All these weekly levels right there, where you see these turnarounds, you know, and so on and so on. These are the levels you want to look at and you want to pay attention to. So for example, when you broke above it, eventually we came down to retest that level right here. And that was that previous high, flipping into support right now. So therefore you saw a weekly candle closure above it. You came down and you immediately got bought up here. And if you simply just placed an entry right there, you would have been up right now around 27% on your money, just from understanding the previous weekly levels right here, these key levels, and just by understanding how things work. So even if you are a spot trader and you don't trade futures or you don't trade leverage, buying there is of course the level where you want to buy here, and you would have been up 25%. It can be that simple sometimes by understanding the higher time frame. It's always, you know, more simple when you see it afterwards. I get that, but that just takes time, and that will just, you know, that will get easier over time here to capitalize actually on it here. All right, Waywarner says not enough free cash to increase balance. I need more trades. Okay. What time frame leverage are you using? I'm interested in. Let me know. Euro says I always think that I don't have enough confirmations to entry, and then I miss the trade. This is definitely very, very interesting layer. We will talk about this a lot actually, Euros. In my opinion, this is a great highlight here. The fact that you feel that you don't have enough confirmation to enter. In my opinion, it's indeed not always about the quantity. It's about the quality of confirmations. But we will definitely notice. I'm gonna write this down. Thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna write this down. That's what I'm doing here. I'm writing everything down right now, and I wanted to make sure that we use this for the next streams, so we can actually start talking about the solutions to the problems here. My goal right now here on these streams here, we're still a small group, all right? Relatively small amount of people here. We had 2,000 people watching sometimes in Forex, so the difference is massive here. So the fact that we are able here to be together right now, you know, use it in your advantage. Ask anything you want, because at some point this is going to blow up. And a lot more people are going to watch here. The chat is going to overrule here. So I want to take advantage of this right now with you guys to deeply devote my full attention in helping out your day-to-day issues here. So Euro says I don't have enough confirmations to enter. Euros, there we go. Thank you, my friend. Maria says, I'm not letting my winners run. This is also another layer. That's a great point. That was my biggest problem at some point, where I was taking profits too quick. And it was always a bigger trade. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to let this one run. Because I am in profit. And what happens? It comes back to my stop loss. So, sometimes taking profit is key. Sometimes stacking positions is even better. And letting your winners run here. There are some things to take consideration for that. So, don't let my winners run. By Maria Gonzalez. Thank you very much, Maria. Waywin says, all per book, 1% risk, 1, 2, 3, 5. Just delegated specific amount of futures I have. Okay, I see what you mean. All right. Okay, so let's talk about AVAX for now. Okay, so number one is we came back towards that weekly level, super key level here. After that, we saw a significant increase. The first real range that I could see right now was actually here. And we have actually, we got rejected there. All right, so you can see directly that if you draw the fixtures volume profile from left to right, it shows you like these 3 different layers. And you can see that the point of control is definitely the one which has been, holding up here really nicely. Again, it's always the point of control, the value area high. Sometimes the value area low here, where you get rejected from. And you can see clearly that this was now the major area of resistance. So this is currently where we're still facing that resistance right now at around 36 bucks here. So, as long as we trade below this level, I am more interested in shorting AVAX. Much more interested in shorting AVAX right now. At the same time, I can already see right now here in the footprint as well that the delta is starting to turn negative right now. The volume is starting to decrease. More and more people are getting topped out here. So it means that less buyers are entering the market, more sellers are taking over. So you can kind of see that, change in volume as well. So we are looking to potentially still see a rejection from Bitcoin right now at this current key level, which is sitting right at the point of control right here. So this could turn into a trade setup. Number one, this could also be a confirmation of the fact that AVAX, in this case, the one that we're talking about right now, could be resulting in some sort of rejection here. So now we have to look at the Bitcoin dominance to see what the Bitcoin dominance is doing as well. And the Bitcoin dominance so far right now is pushing up here. Okay, so therefore, be very careful with AVAX right now, especially if you're looking for longs. Tether dominance, same thing as well here. We're holding up. So far, we're reacting quite aggressively from this initial low as well here. So this could still lead into a nice 1 hour closure. And if it happens to close something like that, or you will potentially see a push up here and a push down for AVAX here. So nothing set in stone yet, but it seems that we are going to get rejected from these particular levels right now. This area of supply is one of them as well here to look at. AVAX right now is getting it is a nice rejection point. It is a nice rejection point here. If you start breaking below this high, which is the 35.75, then that continuation to the downside will or could potentially result in a further continuation here back towards the lows here. So let's set an alert right below this candle here and wait for further confirmation. All right. Arvin says I plot several key levels and price reacts to it as well, but I'm not sure in which key zone I should be entering. All right. All great questions here. The biggest layer, the biggest thing that I've personally learned over the last couple of months, especially years, is that the only thing where key levels are meant for is for price to get there. And that's it. The only thing that you want to look out for is to wait and see how price responds to a key level. So in order to highlight your key levels here, you don't have to force a trade directly. You can also wait, very chill, wait for it to see how you react, how you tap into that level here. and then see how price develops and how it reacts in regards to, you know, the momentum. And if you can kind of understand what sellers are doing against what buyers are doing, and then you can kind of get a grasp of that potential turnaround here, or continuation, of course, as well. So yeah, a key level for AVAX, for example, was the point of control. That was like a key level to look at. That was a rejection point here. Does it mean we have to enter right away when it touches the point of control? No, it doesn't have to be. You can also wait for a pullback, a retracement, and a double confirmation. Now you have the confirmation of Bitcoin potentially getting rejected here. Really, really nice here. This smells actually like a potential trade to me. All right, just, you know, by looking at how it's looking right now here, this could actually lead into a confirmation further to the downside right now. Tether is at support. Really nice. Bitcoin is at the point of control. Again. Volume is picking up. This might be a push down, guys. 42.3k. All right. Keep a close eye on it here. This might be a trade back towards the $42,300 for Bitcoin in the very, very short term here. AVAX will follow up when it happens as well here, due to the fact you can already see that happening right now. Therefore, again, you know, the thing that we have to look at is this range, of course, because we kind of broke out of it. And this is what I actually wanted to see. I wanted to see price being, you know, the volume traded in that range at least as low as possible here. It gives you enough momentum to the downside, with of course the value area high in the middle. Something that you cannot neglect as well. So for now, like we said before, we're looking for downside here. Okay, Bitcoin is coming down. Most likely 42.3k is the target here. You know, key level was the point of control. Obviously right now, looking at AVAX, it's doing the exact same thing. And it most likely will come back down towards the $35 at first. That's that. Okay, let's go over a couple more charts in the meantime. And let's see what we have here. Is AI going to replace human crypto traders? Is that going to happen here? Well, AI is going to replace a lot of different things here. It's a great question. Something that I was wondering about here. What if AI gets so effective in trading? There is no need to use and trade yourself anymore, right? The question is though, who's then gonna lose? Is it AI? Is an AI gonna lose against another AI? Or are there still humans involved that are potentially losing money? Somebody has to lose here. So rather than focusing on the winners, why not just think about who is losing in this game and how can we exploit the losers rather than being obsessed with trying to understand winners. Sometimes it's better to understand losers better than how winners are acting. And I think that if you understand AI, I think somebody has always, you know, somebody has to lose the game here. So my focus will in the future be on who's losing and why are they losing, how are they losing, and how I can make sure that I'm not losing like how they are losing. Way on it says Sui 2 all-time high here. All right, let's see what's happening. Okay, let's see what's happening. Tether is holding up. Bitcoin back towards the 42.3, something like that here, with a little stop at 44.45 maybe. But keep a very, very close eye on it here. This is not looking particularly strong for Bitcoin here. Okay. Solana, like we said before, Solana right now is in that exact zone. Solana is right now in that zone here also. So when you look at Solana and you go to the 5-minute here, this looks like a beautiful, you know, expansion where you see that consolidation here, that breakout, and then the manipulation, an actual flip right here to the downside here. It seems so far to be aligning here, but yeah, we'll find out in a second. Bitcoin dominance is breaking above here. Looking quite interesting. All right, let me know what you guys want to see. Sui. Go to Sui then. So unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how strong some of these currencies are holding against the overall market. It's truly incredible to see. So we didn't even feel this dip, this 20% dip of Bitcoin. All right. Yeah, 146.93. So 147. We really want to wait for price to tap into that zone here, because as long as we're staying below it and we're trading below it here, I would be. Yeah, it is interesting though. We have already like 3 touch points right now. This is already the 4th time we're gonna get to that level here. I mean, I would be. This looking really strong to me. Really strong to me. Would I long from here? No. I would not place a long position from there, right below that break. But I mean, yeah, it is the level to look at. It is the level to look at. It's simply just this level right here. We touched into it once, twice, 3, 4. It's gonna be the 5th, let's say, daily candle that taps into this particular high. It is all at the same time the all-time high. So once this goes and closes above here, sky is literally the limit for Sui. For now, I will be a little bit cautious here. I will be a little bit careful. Okay, I'll be a little bit careful. That's it. So it needs to happen for the Teledomus. Teledomus needs to close this 1 hour candle above the 6%, preferably above this zone. And yeah, we're still looking good to downside here. That's the confirmation we need to look for. Ethereum. Yeah, so Ethereum is still, of course, below the 2500 here. That was the ultimate weekly resistance right there. You can see it clearly. This was the low. This is the high. This is now where it gets rejected from. Ethereum is starting to slow down a little bit. We saw a lot of hype around Ethereum as well. Even me included, I was very bullish. The moment we were above this weekly level, the moment we came below it, I was starting to become less and less interested in looking for that continuation right now. I think personally that Ethereum is now setting up for one more potential retest back towards the $2,400, so the 2420. And that's the make or break for Ethereum right now. Anything below is just not where it gets interesting. So we're waiting for either that to happen here or for a break below the $2,200. It's one of those here. So yeah, that's the only thing that we want to see. We want to break. 2420 will be the ideal, of course. Coming up and then getting rejected there for shorts will be much better than looking for shorts from the 2200 region. Look for further continuation to the downside. So yeah, coming up here to then see that rejection will be, in my opinion, a better outcome than that. All right, let's see. First aid says, "Okay, please check render." As Amiro says, Store J is in short area right now. Okay, let's look at Store J and then render. All right, notification from Tether Dominance. Below the 6%. That would change everything, guys. A daily closure below the 6% here would change everything for the rest of the week. That will bring Bitcoin hopefully to $45,000. Let's see how we react here. Very, very interesting to see how this will perform. Okay, Store J. Same thing, right? So weekly candle, multiple weekly candles above the 50 cents. We could not break below it here. Still looking very, very good. It looks like we have seen a lot of successful weekly levels retested right now at the moment. So, you know, we saw that happening with, which one was it now? Not Sui, but we just talked about it. We saw that happening with AVAX. Yeah, we saw it happening with AVAX. We're seeing it now happening with Storage as well. Same thing, you come back to that weekly candle, you flip it into support, and you initially come above it here. You need a lot of patience for this one. Not gonna lie here, this is roughly still though 40%. So can you wait 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks for 40%? I would wait a month for a 40%, okay? No problem. Absolutely. Okay. Now, in that matter here, this looks like a really solid breakout as well. What's going to happen is you need to look for a retest again. You have been coming up so aggressively. You want to start flipping this into support now, due to the fact that this is right here. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential scenario where you flip it into support here. So that's 65.33, right? Looking for that further continuation to the upside right here. 65.3, preferably 64 cents, and then look for further continuation. If the Tether Dom is actually closes below the 6%, then all of these setups are bullish, and we can start looking for these highs right here. So, you know, it's gonna be a really important moment for today. Not particularly to trade, but to, you know, place and understand all your scenarios right now. And if that daily candle gives you that confirmation, then for the next couple of days here, we have potentially some major runners. So yeah, hopefully we break below the 6%. If you hold above it here, then that might be the confirmation of a bullish hold. And that could then result into, of course, negative, you know, continuation for the market. So yeah, let's see how we react here. All right, Store J looking good. Any confirmation here is back towards the 65, 66 cents here, somewhat in that region. Let me put the zone here right there, just to. There we go. Something like that, my man. Beautiful. Okay. First stage is render. Yeah, let's go to render then, my friend. Let's add this one to the list. By the way, I think this is definitely one that you definitely want to add on to your watch list. It is just a beautiful, you know, retest weekly, 4-hour breakout. You know, flipping it into support, massive expansion, not that much, you know, weird structure sitting above here. It's very clean traffic from the 66 all the way up to the $1. So this could result into a really nice setup. Absolutely. Now look at render here. Render, man, same thing, super impressive. We saw a 40% drop though, but this is starting to look very, very good as well. This particular low, number one. This number one right here. We need to break above the 4.35 right here. We're way too late with entering here, so that means that, you know, you should have been entering, you know, roughly there. Maybe this breakout. And that retest was interesting. That could be one. Maybe another breakout. One more retest. Anything above, you know, this particular zone here, in my opinion, is not as interesting as, for example, this particular range. So, you know, now I think it's too late to look for longs here. Because what happens if you just turn around? You get stopped out for no reason. Why? Because you were greedy. You know, didn't want to wait for this high to be broken. If you break this high here, then we can more confidently say that we could flip it into support and then look for further continuation. Or if we get rejected indeed, then of course it's time to look at the lows and to see if there are new lows formed where we can start looking for another expansion, which then results immediately into some sort of bigger, range trading, right? Something like that, to then look for trades on the bottom and not at the top of a range. So therefore, either breakout, support continuation, or break down and then a turnaround to the upside. I hope that makes sense here. So let's see what's happening. All right. Total one is still below that major resistance. We try to break above it here every single time. We try to close a weekly candle above the $1.62 trillion. We can't, unfortunately. We kept rejected here. So yeah, a closure above here would be fantastic. That could bring us back up towards the $2 trillion, almost $2 trillion right here. So yeah, let's see. That's why I'm saying, guys, this week, this Monday is such an important day for us to show what the Tether dominance is going to do here, and if this break is a trap or if it's actually a potential reversal here. And if that's the case, then $45,000 Bitcoin is imminent, maybe even higher in the short term. And that it's all to do with one massive and important daily level, believe it or not, on the Tether dominance here. So very, very important stuff here. Let's quickly go back to the grayscale here. I'm actually quite curious now to see what's happening there, because we are looking good. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, beautiful. Amaris says storage is in a short area right now. Just wanted to check it one more time here. What do we do? My bad. It is indeed, right? But I highly recommend to wait for price to push back. Because yes, okay, you have this range. But again, there is not much space in between the highs and the lows here. You have a beautiful range. We want to see price at least pulling back into that zone here. Clarify one more time. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we have here. Okay, I'm gonna go over a couple more. We're not gonna keep it too long right here. Today was just to evaluate the charts, most importantly to see what the potential scenarios are. The actual trading and everything is, of course, tomorrow. I think we have much more confirmation for the new weekly candle to give us a sign and a potential scenario of a direction here. So let's see. Solana outperforming the others here. Chainlink is actually stagnating. Litecoin is looking weak. That's what's happening here. Let's see what Litecoin is doing. Yeah. Yeah. Litecoin is still not looking that strong whatsoever here. You have this high, you have this low, lower high. Definitely a key level I'm looking at for shorts. As one of the only ones at the moment here. Tether dominance is starting to weaken. Bitcoin is most likely coming up right now. And Litecoin is following up here, but if the tide turns, then Litecoin is one of the first that's going to get rejected here. So very curious to see how we react here at around the $68 here for Litecoin. Because of the fact that we have created a nice lower low, higher high, lower low, lower high. Hopefully lower high and then a lower low scenario here. Or we break above the highs and then it's immediately looking for long setups. That's the ideal, right? Is your short gets invalidated, you flip it, you look for longs. Boom. No need for, Manipulation here, chance is much smaller due to the fact that you have, you know, it's such a key level to look at that if you break that key level, there's a big chance you're just going to hold above it once things are actually moving here. And that could give you a trade towards the $70 right away. So that's, you know, a 3% move. Easy one here. Okay. Looking quite good so far. But again, we're going to see the confirmations here. Okay, let's do 2 more charts here. And then we're going to do a little recap just to make sure that we are all aligned for this week. We have to stick together this week. Test. There we go. We're back. Okay. Yeah, what I said, I don't know what I missed here, but again, sometimes being patient can definitely work in our favor here. Okay. Beautiful. Now let's do 2 more charts here real quick to see what we can find. Chainlink is definitely one of them. Chainlink has been doing actually very well. Chainlink is breaking out right now. We are seeing this beautiful zone. This area of the month on the 2 hour, I think. There we go. Looking at this zone previously. This zone held beautifully. Why is that? Well, this was the last low that took out multiple highs in one go. Never been retested or successfully retested before. And the 3rd time we saw an expansion to the upside. So it was a beautiful zone. At the same time, that turned into the 70.5, 79% as well. So that was a beautiful layer for Link to look for longs. Now you're getting back towards a breakout point here, which is just a horizontal level, which is sitting at around 14.815. So that's the key level of resistance here. Any break above it here could lead into, you know, further continuation. Anything below, you know, is of course potential rejection point, but I would not look for any shorts whatsoever, especially now because the tether dominance is below the 6% here, guys. So I'm very happy to see here if you can look for that continuation. If you break above the 14.8, boom, 15.8. All right, looking for that further continuation to the upside here. So with that said, it's super easy to just highlight some of these levels if you are in the middle of a range. But again, you have to flip things into support here, or you know, you wait for prices to come back towards areas of demand. But I've seen so many times that when trading supply and demand only, that when you're looking at the momentum shifts here, that when you're waiting for price to get back in the equilibrium in the middle of a range back to an area of demand, that it doesn't get there and it holds already by support, and therefore your demand doesn't get hit. And you know, you miss out on some trade opportunities there. So that's why I like to combine sometimes supply and demand with a horizontal support and resistance, because it gives me a much better overview of an understanding of key levels in the market as well. So it's not just for me that I only use supply and demand, but it's also not that I'm only using horizontal support and resistance levels, because I think the hybrid is what matters and what gives us that extra, you know, confirmation. What leverage would you suggest using for day trading, Lorenzo? The leverage that I would be using, though, totally depends on your strategy. Number one, leverage does not mean more leverage does not mean more money. More leverage means simply more borrowing of money. But again, if your stop loss is at the same exact level, then, you know, sometimes, you know, a 10x leverage or 100x leverage, you know, it doesn't have to make a single difference in the amount of money you're going to make. So it all depends on your strategy. Big misconception is more leverage equals more money. With yeah, the wrong mindset and the wrong executions. It can equal more money, but it can also equal a lot more losses. So be careful with leverage trading in general here. I have created for you, by the way, I think you're in the VIP, right? This exchange tutorial, I think in there I explained about the leverage and why you have to be careful in some cases as well here. More leverage is usually not more money. So, you know, you can make sometimes more money with 1x or 2x leverage. It just requires more margin, right? That's all it needs. All you're looking for. Okay, so with that said, I think it's good here to start looking at the overall breakdown moment here. I'm happy to see this happening on stream right now. It's important for us to see and witnessing what's going on, because again, that daily level at 6% is an absolute key level that we want to break. We want to come down as much as possible today. The lower we get here, the more bullish we're going to be for the next coming days ahead of us for Bitcoin. So that means that if we can close below the 6%, preferably, you know, below the 5.96%, right? There are always like, you know, two zones to look at. You know, extremely bullish for the market, could lead into continuation, could lead into continuation to the downside for the Tether dominance to fill up that gap, that fair value gap that we have filled up, or that we have still open here. That piece of imbalance that's still there yet to be filled. So that could be then a fantastic target. If that happens, Bitcoin is going to go to $45,000. Most likely, altcoins will then, you know, coming along with it here. For now, it's more interesting to look at Bitcoin than altcoins, unless the Bitcoin dominance is actually showing us a little bit more weakness here. So like we said, it's still looking a little bit too strong. At some point, we're waiting for a rejection point. If that rejection point is coming, then you will be the first to know here, due to the fact that it could be around the 52.75, or it could be at the 52.6, or any of these levels right there. A rejection could mean, you know, more bullish momentum for altcoins and more altcoins ripping faster, more money flowing into altcoins, and therefore it only increases the chances of, you know, getting into these bigger trades and everything that you're looking for right there. Okay, so to sum it up, that closure is key. Hopefully we close below it. That will shoot Bitcoin to the moon in the short term here. We were waiting for maybe a bit of a pullback. If we manage, or push up for, or push down for Bitcoin, if we manage to hold below the Tether dominance right here, and actually, or sorry, hold above it. Don't get confused right now. Hold above the 6%. All right, if we can manage to hold above it here, and we saw that bounce, fantastic. This breakdown is promising a lot of good for the market. So this is what we want. Of course, we want to see Bitcoin coming up here. But, you know, the idea is that if it comes down, we're happy. Equally happy, because we are still traders. We can still make money regardless. All right. So if the daily candle closes below the 6% for the Tether dominance, the ultimate retest is going to be flipping this into support right now. The 42.7K into support, and look for further continuation to the upside here for Bitcoin. So it's going to be absolutely key today that we close above it, below it with the Tether dominance, because it's going to be an ultimate confirmation. If you're going to see something like this happening here, it's the last thing I want to share, and then I'm going to let you go for today. If we're going to see rejection one more time, where you're going to see on the daily time frame this happening here. So we have the 6%. We have, let's say, 7 hours for that closure, 7 hours and 19 minutes. If the last hours, let's say, we suddenly decide to come up and close above it here, usually that's not a good sign for the market. It's actually a very bad sign for the market. That could then result into that further continuation. Just to grab that piece of liquidity, fill up that imbalance, step into this zone, and then boom, flip it into support the next day and look for further continuation. So a candle closure below is absolutely key for further upside potential right now. All right, hope that makes sense. Keep a very close eye on it here. If that happens here, we're going to have a bullish week. So hopefully we can make that happen here. And I think then from tomorrow onwards, all the trade setups and the watch list that we're going to share in our YouTube setup section is going to be, of course, the most important and everything will be, of course, shared right here. All right, beautiful guys. Thank you for watching today here. Of course, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow again. I want to see you there. If you're gonna be there, make sure you are gonna be aware of the fact that you know, you are aware of what's happening today, and then tomorrow we know exactly how to take action. All right, make sure you set up everything that you need to do for today. Make sure you you know, ask as many questions as possible. I'm writing them down. So if you don't do it, I do it for you, and I'll make sure that I can answer these questions tomorrow with some proper explanation and as examples as well. So for me, this is the moment to educate you, to guide you through what you need now, and that is your helping hand. Okay, let this be your new beginning in the cryptocurrency market, and let's never look back, and let's only grow from here. 2024 is the year where you and I have to make it. That's it. All right, see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.